So I live in a town called Channahon, Illinois. That's Channahon. It's in the far southwest suburbs of the Chicagoland area. And the predominant industry in our area is distribution. It's warehousing. We are the crossroads, so to speak, of transportation. We are the transportation hub of America, they call us, but it's sort of like the container crossroads of America. We have the largest inland port, less than 15 minutes from my front door, and there are over 2.5 million containers going through my county every year. There are tons of distribution centers. There are tons of factory spaces around us. There are new AI centers going up, but this area used to be AI data centers. This area used to be all farmland. This was nothing but farmland for generations. Now, every time a new warehouse gets approved in town or in any one of the surrounding towns, or if a solar farm project gets approved or anything of that nature, the people who have been here the longest complain the loudest. And they complain to Amazon if it's an Amazon facility, or Home Depot if it's a Home Depot facility. And they complain towards the the village board for allowing this to happen. But at the end of the day, none of those buildings can be built. None of those solar farms can be erected. None of those data centers can get going if the people that own the land don't sell the land to the developers. And what has always amazed me is that the people in the area I live in never complain about the landowners. They never complain about the farmers that sell their land to the developer. Right across the highway from me, you could hit it with a fucking golf ball from my backyard if you had a strong enough swing, is a huge Amazon warehouse. It sits on what used to be the Bluer family farm. Their family farm has moved farther west to the more open areas, and they sold that piece of land to Amazon. The people in this town lost their ever-loving minds about Amazon going in, about the village approving it, about the truck traffic, and all of the infrastructure improvements that had to be made, but nobody ever said a word about the Bluers selling their farm. And I don't care that they sold their farm. Good for the Bluers. I'm glad you got top dollar for your farm. But to the people who bitch about it, why don't you ever mention the Bluers? Well, because they're our friends. Right, but the Bluers are the only reason that Amazon could even ask the village for approval to build a warehouse there, because they had to sell their land to Amazon. But nobody ever wants to complain about those people. Right? Nobody ever wants to say, hey, we can't have this in our town, so the farmers need to stop selling their land to the people who are going to do this. No, it's always the developers and the village's fault, never the farmers' fault. Because you have fewer and fewer people like this.
If it's my way, I'll stay and hold and feed a nation. 26 million doesn't mean anything.
Some people might find it hard to understand how Delcia Bear can turn away a $26 million offer to buy some of her land until you spend a little time with her walking the dirt road she grew up on and in the house her daddy built.
My grandfather and great-grandfather and a whole bunch of family has all lived here for years, paid taxes on it, fed a nation off of it, even raised wheat through the Depression and kept the bread lines up in the United States of America when people didn't have anything else.
The market value for land in Mason County is about $6,000 an acre. The realtor that came to her door last April offered her and her mother about 10 times that.
They call us old stupid farmers, but we're not. We know whenever our food is disappearing, our lands are disappearing, and we don't have any water and poison, we know we've had it.
Delcia's mom, Ida Huddleston, is now 82 years old. She says she does not need the money or the hassle. She was born on this land and she plans to die here, and she certainly does not trust the promises made by the AI companies or the people who want them to build here.
So what do you say to the people who are in town that say, hey, this is going to bring jobs, this is going to bring economic prosperity?
I say they're a liar and the truth ain't in them, is what I say. It's a scam.
Now listen, When I say there aren't as many people like that, I'm not talking necessarily about how they may have voted, because people like that most likely voted in a conservative manner. I'm talking about there aren't as many people like that who are going to say, you know what, I'm not going to take the payday and I'm going to continue to farm my land. That's the only way you stop that from happening, is you don't sell them your land. The only way you stop these warehouses from happening is if the people don't sell them their land. But when the people do sell the developers the land, when you folks want to complain about it, and whether the complaint is valid or not valid is irrelevant for the purposes of this conversation. If you want to complain about it for whatever reason, you better start including the people who sold the land to the developer. Otherwise, your complaints are hollow.